Alrighty. So, today, well, not today, but many days ago, I was asked about editing Steve Good ornaments and how I do them, and he liked the video that I did about how to add text and remove text. So then he asked me a tricky one. How do you do the ones that have curved text? Well, that's a loaded fun. Um, this is a little more complicated. So I said I would give it a try and see what you guys think. Hopefully this works. If not, ask questions. It'll help me correct how it's done. This is a long video. There's no real shortening this other than maybe breaking it up into parts, I guess. But yeah. So basically what we want to do is here's your original. We want to get rid of Merry Christmas, and we're going to change the date as well. Um, and put in a name under here. In order to do that, we basically have to get rid of the text to create something like this. Now, as you know from my prior video, in order to remove text, you just click on it, scroll in, and you kind of highlight and go. Well, with curved text, that's a little more complicated than that. You don't want to just willy-nilly select and delete because you'll end up with problems such as this. Essentially what you have to do is zoom into each letter, carefully extract the nodes, leaving these corner nodes. So you want to be able to kind of come in here, like now this group can go, this group can go, this group can go, but we want to leave this node here. So we'll just kind of keep selecting as we go. Now, as you can see, when I zoom back out, I got this weird little blub. You can take these little nodes here, these little arms, pull them in, you'll get a line, like so. So now you can pull it out and kind of round over as best as possible. Now, obviously, this is not going to be perfect, and the reason why is because of these handles. What you now need to do is select this node, come up here to this little one here that says make smooth. You click on that, it'll now kind of connect these a little better. And you can kind of pull it in, and there. Now we have a nice, smooth round over. Now, basically, I'm going to try and edit the video as best as possible here. And now you just remove groups. So from now on, you don't want to touch this one, but you can leave this node, but you can remove from this node down. So how I do that is I zoom in this way, scroll up, zoom in, delete. Again, this is a very time-consuming process to do. Most people are not going to want to do this, obviously. Drag the handles in. We have a line again, and we'll fix this later. Continue to do that for all the letters, all the way around. And when you start seeing things get a little blended, like if I was to delete all of this, see, we still have a curve that works. So now I can come over here, these nodes, which connects these now. Pull this in. We still have a curve that we can work with. Now, sometimes this will happen where you have a little weird thing. This is because of this handle. You have to kind of get it just right so that it locks back in its node. And then you'll slowly get it. If it doesn't, you can come up here to smooth. It'll then smooth it out. Kind of pull it around. If you don't like this curve that occurs, you can always undo by hitting Control Z until your text is back. Because obviously you removed a node that you probably shouldn't have. So you can kind of just keep going back through each thing. I would leave this node, but I'd get rid of the rest of the Y. The C, the same thing. I would get rid of all these nodes in here, but I would also get rid of probably up to around here, and so forth until I have a semicircle around. So I'm going to pause the video and come back when I have all that done. Alrighty. So after that little fast forward, because apparently I didn't pause the video, it continuously recorded, but then decided to randomly stop, so the entire end of everything went poof. So we're going to continue here as best as I can. Some steps I'm going to have to try and backtrack a little bit and explain. Um, as you can see, I have two circles here. Let's start. Yeah, rewind here. I'm all combobulated now on what's missing and what's not. All right, so we want to go and create a circle. Doesn't have to be perfect because now we have our text gone. Now you can see the circle's not the greatest, but it really doesn't matter. You can correct that on your own. You want to line your circle up. Doesn't have to be perfect yet. You want to come up to Object, lower to bottom, so it's like a background. Kind of scale your image little by little till it fits the rough shape of your ornament. So now this is your ornament. Okay, we're going to say that's the ornament. Now we need to make this second circle here, which will be your text, sort of speak. I'll explain why in a moment. So you want to duplicate this by holding down Control D. This will now create another copy, as you can see. We want to change the color to whatever color we want. We're going to go with yellow for this one. And we want to scale it out just a little bit. We want to come up to Object. We're going to lower it to the bottom so it's behind this. We're going to now hold down Control again, grab an arrow, pull it up, and we're going to get a rough dimension here. So now we want to select the yellow and the red by holding down Shift and clicking each. We're going to go to the alignment section, which is these three bars up here, or I already have it queued up. Make sure this is on a selection area. Center them out, deselect everything, and we're ready for the next step. So the next step is our text. And the guinea pig having the zoomies, apparently. So now we're going to use my last name. You can use any font you want. I'm just going to use a basic font under bold. And we enlarge this up. Now, what I like to do for things like this when there's dates involved, before I remove the text, I see if I can scale my lettering to it. But in this case, I'm just going to scale it to the 2020. So you want to hold down Control, grab the little arrow, and you move it in. And you can eyeball it. Just see if you want to zoom in, you can get a little more precise. You can come up here, bring this out. There we go. That's roughly what it look, the thickness. Crazy pig over there. He's got the zoomies tonight. Oh, it's after midnight. That's why. Okay, on with the tutorial. So now we have our text. Now, how do we curve our text? What we want to do is select the yellow circle. We want to select our text by holding down Shift. Come up here to Text, put on Path. Now you'll see it jumped over here to the side. Now, in order to rotate this, you're going to want to do, double click and try and pull it. That's not how you do it. You select the yellow circle, click it twice, you'll get your arrows, and you rotate that. Once you have your text to the top, like so, obviously you don't want it up there, you come over here to the flip section, and you want to do flip the object vertically. Your text will now be on the bottom. Now, this is why you make the secondary circle, because if we were to do this to the actual ornament size, this will be way too small. It won't fit when we do the next steps. Now, we can zoom in here, and we can move this around. We can see, okay, I don't like that the U is touching the T, so I want to space this out a little more. The U and the L is a little weird. So we can come into our text editor still. You can select all, just by highlighting and dragging across. Come up here to spacing between letters and hold down the plus button. This is the boring part. And keep going until we have a good spacing. I can now zoom in. I still got to go a little more on the T and the U. So now I like the spacing on these, but not the T and the U. You can specifically select the T and U and then continue with the spacing. It'll still shift everything over, but it's going to concentrate here a little more. So that looks good. So now obviously we're now crooked. So now you have to come up here to your selection tool, select the yellow circle, rotate it back to the right until you get it where you kind of want it. This is a lot of trial and error. Once you have your text the way you want it, now you follow the basic procedure of my other video, where you come up here to path, go to object to path. Once this is a path, you right click it, go to ungroup. Once it's ungrouped, you can come over to path and go to combine. So now this is one solid image you can move around. Now you can bring it up to your pattern. You want to make sure to zoom in, make sure all your letters are touching. You can still adjust your pattern if these lines aren't touching to your liking, so to speak. Like sometimes, like, look, my T is really deep here, but the Y isn't enough here. If you want to get this symmetrical, you can bring down a little thing here. You can see that I'm actually not symmetrical. I'm slightly higher on the right than I am, but in this case, it really doesn't matter. Make sure all your letters touch in some way. If they don't touch, they won't weld. So now you want to deselect. You have your text where you want it. I actually want to move this over a little more. There we go. You can also, if you wanted to, center it by holding down Shift, selecting your thing, and hitting the center button here. It'll move it over. Still make sure everything is touching. Okay. Select your pattern first. Hold down Shift. Select your text. Go to Path, Union. And there you go. My name is now at the bottom of the ornament. If we wanted to change the date, like my other video, select the pattern, even just like what we just did. Zoom in, select all of these. Now we're going to go to the text tool. We're going to make this 2020. I'm holding down Shift while doing so, which is awesome. All right, 2020. Going bold. Zoom this up. Obviously, you would use a stencil pattern. I have actually a stencil pattern now that I think about it. Come up here and go stencil. There's a stencil. Perfect. Cross. It's a little too big. Yep. Select that. There we go. Now we're centered. So again, same procedure. Up here to path, object to path, right click, ungroup, come up here to path, go to combine, deselect, select your pattern, select your numbers, and go to path, difference. And this will now cut it out. So now if I was actually to bring this circle over here, you can see it is fully cut out. I hope this tutorial helps. If you have any questions or problems, because I'm kind of a little all over the place, please feel free to ask, and I'll try and either do another video or clarify in some way. Till next video, enjoy.